Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged, episode 1220 for the week of May 23rd, 2023. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Craig Williams, and today I'm joined alongside by a bunch of faces and names I haven't heard in a long time, including the one and only John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Did you miss me?
Teresa Eccles.
Yes.
And then I believe
I blew your surprise. I'm sorry.
You did blow the surprise because I was going to say, I believe making his Diz Unplugged debut as a panelist, a person you'll probably want to take notice of because one day he just might be host of this show.
No.
And that is Pete Warner.
Hey, everybody.
Okay. And then, of course, in the back,
Wow, rude.
Rhino.
That's fine.
Well, when you ruin the surprise, I don't get to mention you. But
Aw.
that's okay.
That's okay.
We're going to have a great episode this week. We're joined by a lot of friends here, and we have a bunch of great news stories to go over. So we'll get to that in just a second. But before we get there, I want to mention to you that this show is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, consider booking a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money. You get the support of one of the awesome Dreams Unlimited Travel agents like Kevin and Teresa. So for a free, no obligation quote, head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today. And then once you make it to Orlando, I want to also recommend FL Tours because they are our number one provider of transportation services and sponsor of this show. So fltours.com. And then also, I have to mention Patreon. We always do a Patreon after show after every Tuesday show. And we just, kind of get uncensored for a little bit, relax, and have a little bit more fun after this. So it's good for all levels of Patreon supporters. So head over to patreon.com/DizUnplugged. Get more info there. And we hope you can join us for the after show. Okay, how's everyone doing? Haven't seen you in
Doing good.
many moons. And
It's been like a hot minute since I've been here, so.
and we see you every after show. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
on the after show.
Not as much, but lots of good travels.
Yeah, we've getting a lot of feedback from folks saying when are you going to be back on the show. So we decided we were going to pop on today. We got some info we want to
This is
share.
kind of like a proof of life thing.
Exactly.
And the number one
Okay.
question, of course, when are you doing Dreams Unlimited travel shows?
Soon.
Okay. Listen, it is the number one question I get asked, so I need that burden to be on your shoulders.
We have a great deal of stuff we want to talk about that doesn't fit into this show. We've been traveling a lot. We just did a celebrity cruise.
Like literally just got off the ship.
Yep.
Monday,
We
Sunday.
came back from Cape May, our place in Cape May. Ran into listeners out there, believe it or not. So we have a lot of stuff we want to talk about
Several.
that doesn't fit in this context. So we'll be doing a bunch.
Number one question I get is John still alive? Yes, he is.
I think I have a newspaper with today's date on it. If anybody needs
That's
it.
what today is.
See, you said Cape May, and I was like, did they give you your own booth at the restaurant at the?
Oh, you're thinking it was
Yeah,
Cape
I
May?
was like,
Yeah.
my brain was like, what?
His favorite spot.
What? Yeah,
Cape May, New Jersey.
yeah.
Well, does anyone have any housekeeping they want to start with? I know you do, John.
I do. Actually, the big reason why I wanted to come on the show this week is I'm getting a lot of questions about our event in Disneyland this summer. And when is tickets going to go on sale? And when can I do stuff? I don't have any information to share.
Wow.
I'm just, No, I have some information I want to share. We are not quite ready to put the tickets on sale. I have to build a ticket engine so that we can purchase them. You guys can purchase them and we can get you in the system. I'm hoping for Monday
That you're going to start building it?
that I'm going to have it done.
Oh.
Troublemaker. And then I'll have it done. So keep an eye out. There's a thread on the Diz boards. Craig is going to post the link to it so you guys can follow there. We'll put the information there about when they go on sale, and then also listen for the show because I'll let Craig know in advance that they're up.
Yep.
And that he can announce it on here. But I do want folks to know, if you don't know what our event is, it is August 4th through August 6th of 2023 in Disneyland. We got some cool stuff planned. We have all of Pixar Pier to ourselves for a big party. Every ride will be open. All of the midway places will be open so you can play games and stuff and have a good time.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And we're doing something this year we've never done before, and this is actually Disney, the people I'm working with at Disney put this together. is before the actual party, we're going to have Pixar Gardens to ourselves, which is a little area right off of Pixar Pier. And then what that's going to allow us to do is we'll have hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and maybe some surprise guests will show up. And it'd be a great place for folks to come, hang out, meet us, talk to us before the actual party. So this way, when you get to the party, you can ride the rides and not worry about being interrupted. We do have, my next page of giant notes. We do have rooms that we've held in a room block. If you're interested in booking a room at a discounted rate for the weekend, we've secured Disney's Grand California Hotel and Spa for $585 per night plus tax. The Disneyland Hotel for $440 per night plus tax.
And those are really good prices considering it's in the middle of summer.
These are like 30% off of rack.
Yeah.
People are can't believe we've got these rates. We still have some rooms left. And what I also want to let you know is we've contracted for August 4th through August 6th, but they're allowing us to get these rates before and after. So if you were looking to make a longer stay out of it, we can book you into this room block and get you the rate before and after the actual dates of our room block. If you have a Dreams Unlimited travel agent, reach out to them directly. And if you don't, reach out to me, John at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, and I will get you to an agent who can book you these rooms. If you book these rooms with us, you will get priority access to being able to buy tickets. So that's one perk to having the rooms booked with us. Anything I missed?
I have a question.
Go for it.
To get into the park for the pre-thingy, you don't need a park ticket, do you?
You will need a park ticket to get in if you want to get in before our event starts.
Okay.
But if you're going to come to our I got to remember the hours of, I think it's 8:30 p.m. We can meet at the park main entrance, and someone from Disney, a cast member, will be walking people to our event. You don't need a park ticket beginning at 8:30 p.m. But if you want to be in the park before that, you will have to get a theme park ticket.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm hoping a lot of folks join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. This is something we've never done before, this sort of length of an event. Usually they start at midnight and they go for an hour. So the fact that we've got like 3.5 hours in the park is pretty cool.
That is
And we're doing it in California. You know, we've never done one on the West Coast, and something we talked about quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
exciting.
It's very, very exciting. So if you need information on it, you can already go into the description and you will find the link right up at the top. And we will keep you updated as we find out more details about the event. So does anyone else have any housekeeping? I do. Kevin?
Our July trip that's just before our Backstage Magic, that's just before the party, ends on August 4th. That is completely sold out. However, we are announcing 2024 Backstage Magics. One is June 30th through July 5th, and one
wow.
is December 8th through December 13th. One for 4th of July and one for Pete's birthday.
We're actually really excited. I'm excited about this 4th of July one. We've never done that before.
no,
So we're going to be in the parks on 4th of July.
And there's
Very
nothing
cool.
better than Disneyland at Christmas. So, and that's that December event.
yeah.
The December trip will be during Christmas.
Now, the price of this has gone up, like everything else in your life. Per person, double occupancy is $49.99. A single person is $69.99, and children are $47.49. If you look at the date on the ABD website, I believe it lists the December trip as an adults-only trip. That is not true. It is open to anybody who wants to go. Now, if you've wanted to do this and you don't want to pay the higher price, I have a handful of spaces left on our October trip, and that is $39.99 per person based on double occupancy, $55.99 for singles, and $37.99 for kids. That is a way to save some money. Go with us in October.
Yeah.
I know somebody at this table who's going in October.
John?
No.
No?
Miss D. I'm going.
Are you on that one, Pete?
Am I?
I don't know. We
You are
always
not.
have.
You are not booked on anything.
Right. We always have space for
Come
Pete.
on, it'll be fun. I'll be there.
I
God.
can book you at the last minute. That's not true for everyone else.
To save Dreams money, you guys should share a room.
Ew.
Stella's going. First time, and it should be her very first time in Disneyland.
Oh, well.
That'd be
Okay,
exciting.
back to me. The link will be in the show notes page, and you write to Kevin at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. If you want to submit a request, you can go into the Dreams form at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com under Adventures by Disney, and these dates are already in there, John tells me. So, that's my rapid fire.
Your rapid fire.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
It's been a long time. What are we calling it these days?
It's a housekeeping.
I have a little something I need to say.
Oh, Lord.
It just,
That's fine.
you're a panelist. He can tell me no.
Bitch, I still own the shit, okay?
Okay, I just
You're
want
a
to thank.
panelist.
You're a panelist.
Like Arlene Francis.
Brad and Maggie, longtime podcast listeners, stopped by the Welcome Center Saturday. I was not there. I feel bad that I was not there, but it was not my day to work. And they just wanted to thank us for all the information we put out, and they left us, which I have to share, a Twisty Treat gift card. I'll share if you come out to the office.
Oh, I'll
It's
come visit
already
you for
gone.
ice cream.
Just tell
No,
the
it's
truth.
still
You've
there. I
already
haven't
spent
touched
it.
Anyway, I wanted to thank them for stopping by.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Very nice. Anyone else?
No.
No? Okay. Well, before we do get started with the news, I did want to take a moment to recognize that we lost someone in our Diz community earlier this year. If you've been on the boards or you watched the show live, you've probably seen the name Sorcerer Heidi. And we just found out that she did pass away earlier this year, and she was one of the most positive people that we have ever encountered doing this show over the years. She was incredibly supportive, and not only that, she was so kind to other people on the boards, in the live chat. She was just an incredible person from all the times that we interacted together, and she will be incredibly missed. I think there was 2 separate quotes that were in her Disboards little profile at the bottom that really, really reflect her personality and her character. They go as, "The same hot water that softens potatoes hardens eggs. It's not about your circumstances, but what you make of them." And then also the Dr. Seuss quote, "Remember, to the world you may just be one person, but to one person you may be their whole world." Wow. And that was her to a T. So we'll miss you, Heidi, and condolences to your family and friends, because I know you made a lot of them over the years.
She was so sweet.
She's been with us for a very long time. She's been a listener with us for a long time and supportive on the boards. And there was never a time when someone said anything bad that she didn't go right in and be like, no,
Right?
no, they're great. They do this, they do
Right.
that. They're just so supportive and so sweet.
She wished me on my birthday. She wished me a happy birthday, and then it was just a few days later she was gone. It hit me when I found that out.
Yeah, and I know I saw in the thread on the boards where it was revealed that she passed, that one of the things they said was one of the things she asked of her friends was that if she was ever in Magic Kingdom, then when you're going past the hub statue, the partner statue, take a moment and think about her. And then if you're going through Cinderella Castle and you get to the slipper on the mosaic, just touch it and share, one good memory and thought with her.
my
So
goodness.
if you were friends with her, that's an option to remember her legacy. So she will be absolutely missed, though.
Sweet.
But
Agreed.
with that, I think we are
Before
going.
we
Sorry,
go, can I do one more thing? It's very quick.
absolutely.
If you have Disney Plus, John and I watched a documentary last night. It's called Howard, and it's about Howard Ashman. And you should go into it knowing it doesn't end well. But I know that John and I, who are diehard Disney fans, are diehard Disney fans, are aware of exactly how incredible his legacy is. If you're a Jodie Benson fan, she's in the documentary, but it's well worth your time. That's it. Little PSA.
Excellent. And it's not getting removed, so you don't have to worry about that. But
Not yet, anyway.
fingers crossed. So it shouldn't be removed. But let's get things kicked off with the fun news that we have this week. And first up, we're going to start with the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. If you were living under a rock, then you probably missed that. Last week, Walt Disney World announced that the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser immersive experience will be closing this fall. The final voyage is set to take place September 28th through the 30th. And if you want to get on that one, you're out of luck because it's already sold out. But for any guests who have booked voyages past the September 28th experience, you should have already rebooked at this time, or you should have been refunded. And, you know, for some reason, if you're booked with a Dreams Unlimited travel agent and you haven't figured that out yet, I would get on it soon, because dates will start being filled up, because starting May 26th, Disney is going to open back up new bookings to anyone who wants to book the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser before it closes. And I'm sure we're going to go over a lot about it, but during the JP Morgan conference yesterday, Josh D'Amaro did have a little bit more insight to share on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, and I'm going to paraphrase him here a little bit, but he said about the Starcruiser, it was a pretty stunning asset. It's essentially a spaceship guest board that feels exactly like Star Wars. Imagineers did an incredible job pulling it together, got high guest ratings, but it didn't perform how we wanted it to, so we decided we'd sunset it. It was a never-before-seen type experience, and it raised the bar creatively where they can go next, but it was time. And then he said, I will note, this hasn't been talked about before, but in quarter 3 and quarter 4, as we accelerate depreciation, we should expect about $100 to $150 million acceleration in depreciation. So, what went wrong?
Well, first of all, the best marketing Disney did for the Starcruiser was to close it.
Yeah.
Because we have gotten more requests
Right.
to book the Starcruiser before it ends, because all these folks were all pent up, and you know, it was too much money, so they were trying to figure out how they can go and get other people to join them, but it's kind of made people pull the trigger.
And you know, as far as what went wrong, we don't have to guess. I said it when, as soon as the pricing was announced.
Yeah, that was back
we
in
did a-
2021.
We did a show, and let me just state, I was by no means the only person in the vlogosphere who predicted this. Virtually every major outlet, every major Disney outlet said the same thing when the pricing came out. The pricing was insane, absolutely insane, too expensive, and focused on a micro niche market. And I said it at the time, it's not sustainable long term. It's not sustainable. The audience told them this. And as usual, because when it comes to Disney fans, Disney management rolls their eyes and doesn't take us seriously. Had they listened to us from the beginning, maybe they could have adjusted some things that would have given this at least a little bit longer life, if not made it a sustainable business model. But they don't do that. You know, with travel agencies, for example, they have what is it called? The earmarked panel of travel agents.
Earmark Travel Agency Council.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So it's a collection. It's a collection of top agencies, of which Dreams Unlimited is a part of this. John is a part of this. That they put together to get feedback. From agencies about things they're doing and what's working and what's not. And that council has had enormous impact on how certain things are done when it comes to selling Disney travel. Why don't they do this, something like it, with their fan community? Have an advisory council of people from the community, because we're constantly predicting what's going to go wrong. And you know what? We're usually always right. But Disney doesn't listen to us. They have their feedback forms and everything else. Now listen, I'm not gloating about, okay, maybe a little, about Starcruiser. But, you know, fortunately, Disney is saying that the cast members are being relocated to other positions. No one's being let go. No one's losing
Other
their job
spaceships.
as a result of this. They're going to other spaceships.
planets.
And, let's be fair that, this is being characterized as an abject failure. But let's, to be fair, the feedback from people that experienced it was magnificent.
Yeah, I don't like calling it an overall failure. It was definitely a financial failure, but in terms of the guest experience, the levels of guest service that you experienced on Starcruiser, that was all just out of this world. It's the same service. I had to. The level of service that you get on the Starcruiser easily matches what you experience on Disney Cruise Line. And that's part of why we tell people to go do Disney Cruise Line, because of that level of service that feels like old Disney. That's what Galactic Starcruiser did, but on top of that too, it also found a way to bring an immersive story to life in the Star Wars universe. And it's just something that Disney has not done on that level. So creatively and service level, it was a complete success. But the finances are ultimately what matters.
And look, and Disney took a huge risk with this, and they did. They set a new bar for technological immersion, for their storytelling, for their Imagineering, and their execution of it. They really did. The problem came down to pricing. Had the pricing been more reasonable, had it not been, what was it, $6,000 for two people?
$4,500 to $6,000, depending on the room.
And so you're talking between $5,000 and $6,000 for a two-night experience. For a two-night experience. And when they first announced the pricing, we did a show on that. I compared it to a one-bedroom suite on a 3-night cruise, and the cruise was cheaper. The cruise was cheaper.
Every time we were in one of our council meetings and they talked about why we're not selling as much Starcruisers as they would like, my first reaction was, first of all, too much money. Mm-hmm. It's too expensive, and I'm not the only voice that expressed this. But I also said they should have made it at least one night longer. Our experience was, and Kevin has his own experience, mine was I enjoyed it. And we got to do it in a way that not everybody gets to do it. But I felt like the first half a day you're there, I didn't know what was going on. So I felt like if I had one day of sort of orientation, I would have enjoyed the other 2 days better. And I think that would have made the price more palatable.
Palatable, yeah.
But what bothers me about this is it feels like they went from, we're going to do this and do this and this, and then we're not going to do it anymore. Where there seems like there could have been steps in between that they could have taken. I mean, they released a 30% discount for annual pass holders for what, 2 or 3 weeks prior to closing it. Mm-hmm. So you think, why didn't you give that a chance? Why didn't you do something else? But I think someone, you said it or someone said it, it was depreciation. Guess what? We get to write this off on our taxes. Sometimes that's worth more.
I think there's more to it. First of all, as you pulled up to it, it was a very expensive experience, and as you pulled up to the building, I joked that it looked like a women's low-security prison.
Why a women's prison?
Yeah, really, why? What's that about?
It's just what hit me. It looked like a genderless, low-security prison. You drive back through what's backstage, and there's no theming to that either. And once you get inside, I thought it would. I don't have to explain my feeling about Star Wars, but I thought it was dumb. We were assigned tasks, and John's task, because Kevin didn't want the task, was to flush the toilets. And that's not an exaggeration. John had to go to the pump room.
It was the waste management room.
And
not the commode in your room.
No, he had to flush the toilets for
the whole
ship.
ship.
And
That's
then another
cool.
thing was you got training to drive the spaceship. And it looked like any video game, and you had to press this button, then you had to press this button, and I thought...
See, now, but the thing is, that didn't interest you.
If you're immersed in the
Right.
character.
I thought that was
herein
awesome.
lies the problem. Herein lies the problem. The vast majority of the population is not going to be interested in that. Okay? You have a micro niche.
These are the people who dress up at the convention.
And exactly. And and granted, Star Wars fans have money willing to spend on this, but as I said in the very beginning, are they going to be willing to do this over and over and over again?
There was no repeatability.
You look at Cruise Line. Cruise Line, one of their hallmarks are repeat guests. People that go back on the cruise year after year, sometimes multiple times a year. Because it has repeatability. This didn't.
They didn't. It
Clearly.
wasn't like you were staying at a Disney resort. You got a field trip into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Batu.
And you went in a transporter, which was basically a rental panel van, a rental truck with
Use your imagination.
galaxy lights in it.
Right.
And then they dropped you off, and my imagination's pretty good. Not for this. And I thought, you didn't have a day to go to the Magic Kingdom. This was a closed loop. And
They put their money on the fact that this was going to be the experience that certain people wanted, and I believe certain people did want it.
It's not a large enough audience.
Right.
I still think the audience was large enough, but the problem was it always comes back to the price point. The average person who's not very interested but hears great things, great word of mouth, they probably would have went to it if we're looking at an experience that was, $2,500 for a family of four. Yeah, something a lot less. Then you would have roped people in, because where Kevin looks at it and says it's a giant video game in front of you, I also look at people who are waiting 30 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes for Toy Story Mania and are just playing a video game while they're on vacation too. It was.
No, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same because they're not having to pay $6,000 to do that.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying in terms of the quality of the entertainment they had on there, it's different than just saying a video game, because you also had actors who were pulling you into the story.
Toy Story Mania has
building it
different
all.
outcomes. You can get a high score, you can get a low score. You can do better, you can do worse. I think that means the same. This was press this button and the thrusters go.
That was a problem of mine, is that there wasn't more than one outcome.
But there was more than one.
But it
outcome
was-
for the
yeah.
full weekend, for the full 2 days. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say, actually, the thing that was surprised me when I went was that every time you were on the bridge, it was a different story. Nobody experienced the same story unless you were in the same group on the bridge, so that you could walk out and say like, "Oh, because mine we lost. The First Order came on board for ours." But that didn't. Somebody else. It was like they succeeded because they got Chewbacca into the ship and he showed up and like another thing.
Craig, you've done it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
You knew that you can manipulate it to be the good guys or the bad guys.
For sure.
So there's that repeatability.
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement that it's the price.
Yeah.
So we talk about how many people could go to the convention and dress up. I believe a lot of those people probably make their own costumes and probably are doing it as inexpensively as possible and are enjoying Star Wars at that level where they don't have that amount of money to spend. I'm sorry.
Did it ever pull in Star Wars fans that weren't Disney fans? Or do you think it ever pulled in that group of people?
I think it did to an extent, but I couldn't tell you because all
much
I do is
crossover.
run in, groups that are with Disney.
But I think also the one factor you have to consider, very few people are going to come to Orlando just for a 2-night experience.
Yeah.
So this was an additional price on top of what it already costs
That was a
to
big
go to
complaint
Disney World.
that we got from clients.
So, and I think, part of this is Disney arrogance when it comes to pricing. They have gotten so used to charging whatever they want and having it fill up. Right? We're seeing this now, right? The price of a Disney vacation at Walt Disney World has never been higher. And, they're still packing them in the parks. Parks and Resorts operational profit was up, I think, 23%. So they're not losing any money right now on the parks. Other sections of the company are having issues, but not the parks. So they're so used to this that they just figured we could charge whatever we want. And we don't have to listen to the overwhelming feedback when they announced the pricing that they were getting. And this is the end result. This was predicted by so many people. that this was what was going to happen. But because management at Disney lives in this insular bubble, and they buy each other's BS, and they tell each other what they want to hear, they ignore the fans. They've been, I've talked about this for years. They continue to ignore the fans. And this is a great example. Now, this should be a cautionary tale to them, because the fans are also telling them that the price of stuff at Walt Disney World is getting to be too much. You're nickel and diming too much. And, we're starting to see some shifts. They're having a horrible time trying to book summer at Walt Disney World. Normally, they're packed. Not this summer. They're begging for people to come
Two
in.
pretty big promotions are still going on for the summer. I want to say one more thing about Starcruiser. The price was high, but I believe that what Disney put into it in certain ways justified the price. Because, meals were included. All your meals were included. All of the entertainment was included, but not just entertainment like I'm going to go watch a show on Disney Cruise Line. It was people interacting with you and talking to you and taking the time to sort of make it a story for you. So that costs money. I'm not saying it was money well spent, but I'm saying this is the amount of money they've invested into this. It was tremendous.
But you could say the same thing about a Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce, you can justify the price, the money, the time that goes into it, the quality that goes into it, the experience, the talent, the engineering. Doesn't mean I can afford it.
But
But Rolls Royce makes cheaper models.
Yeah, is
people
there?
do-
But still, even their cheaper models, only a very small percentage of the population.
But I think that's what Disney should have
Is
done.
there a
They
man in the back of the Rolls Royce to interact with me, or what?
There could be.
So I have
He
a
wants Grey
question.
Poupon,
I have a
believe.
question. So
Okay, one
what
more
do you
question.
think? What do you think now is going to happen to it? Is it going to
Teresa,
be a
I'm the
different
host.
resort?
He's
I
not-
asked the question.
Were you going there? Okay,
We
sorry.
asked the
So my
question.
next question was going to be, with
Sorry.
the price point clearly getting in the way, what do you think they should do with it?
Well,
Should they
I-
lower the price, make it a hotel,
Women's
destroy
Well,
it?
first of all, I think you have to keep in mind that this was purpose-built from the ground up to be exactly what it is. Okay, this was not built to be a hotel. This was built to be basically an entertainment venue. So a lot of the amenities that someone would expect in a hotel anywhere, let alone at Disney World, are just not there. Now, does that mean that they can't retrofit it
like windows.
like windows
You know.
or a pool?
You might expect a window.
So, could they retrofit it? Yes, but are they going to sink more money into this? I don't think so. Based on what I've heard, and Disney's never released what they spent on it, but I've heard that it was upward of $300 million to build this. So that's an extraordinary amount of money. Are they and they've lost money on it? Are they going to sink more money into it to retrofit it and turn it into a hotel? When from what I've heard, the rooms are very small.
Yep.
It's just not what you'd expect.
Conducive to being
It could be the correctional facility that DeSantis wanted.
Oh, good God. You had to go there, didn't
Sorry,
you?
I'm done.
I
It's a
think what
little
they
too
should do is they should make it part of the value resorts, and it should be the All-Star Wars Resort.
The All-Star one?
Wars Resort.
All Star Wars
like that.
Resort.
Like instead of the All-Star movies and all
With
sorts
your
of-
own, you can go right into Hollywood Studios, right?
Yeah.
I think
Well-
that's my opinion. They're going to attach it to Hollywood Studios.
I mean, it's got such a great location.
Like the
But-
Grand Floridian, you can walk right into California Adventure.
But,
It's-
that's
they have-
right. What are you going to do? You can't say it's a regular hotel because it's not.
Yeah, they would have to basically thread the needle on it, where it would probably have to be at moderate pricing. You could, just because based on the rooms and obviously the amenities there, I think you could justify a deluxe stay, but it would have to include unlimited access to the games that are still located in there, assuming that they're going to be on there. Maybe they take the dinner show and they make it a dinner show that only guests staying at the hotel can access, as long as people who are Hollywood Studios reservations, bus them over. Like all of a sudden, if you give them priority and say you never have to worry about eating here, you always get to walk in, priority access for the bar, things like that, I could see them justifying a deluxe price. But then also the other problem too is people are still going to want to see it. So maybe they'll book a dining reservation there. They have to come from the parks because there's no parking lot. Right. It's the cast member parking lot. And then, that's why they do valet. So they take it over there for you. There's no room for any of that. But ultimately, I think they should just destroy it.
Dude,
Ooh, shocking.
Wow.
Look, they're going to take a write-off on it. So, technically, they could just level the place.
It?
Yeah.
And say, but I think they will try to do something else with that space before they pull that particular trigger.
I know we talk about the fact that there's no windows, and that's kind of a joke. But actually, the way it's built is there's an outer shell. And the outer shell does have windows and does have access because it's for fire hazards and things like that. So they really could technically gut the inside and reuse the outside. But is it worth it?
I wouldn't want that because that's the benefit of going to a hotel where you're in space is having that view out into space the entire time.
It might not be a space hotel.
Someone on Twitter said it would
just-
make a great grow house too.
Or cast member break room, right?
It could make a lot of things.
Yeah, I have, I have no idea what they will do with this space, if anything. I really don't have any predictions there.
They could hold conventions.
They could, it could be used as a space for conferences, for, company wants to come and do something really special.
Corporate retreats.
Retreats, things like that. I could see it being used for that, but is that going to be, again, it comes down to what is a sustainable business model for that space. And if they can't find one, then they'll have to level.
It's also logistics. Is it a desirable space for anything? Is it a desirable place to put a hotel? It doesn't seem to me like it's a good place on property to put a hotel.
Not unless they retheme the back of Galaxy's Edge.
But even where it's located and how easy it is to get to other things, it doesn't seem like it's. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, we are going to move on. We've talked a lot about Starcruiser. No, I just want to, I know people are probably getting bored out there who are like Kevin, and they just don't care anymore. And they're, setting off fireworks tonight for it no longer being around.
I will say this. Come on, one more thing.
Okay.
They were really, really nice to Kevin on that experience. He was cold in the lobby.
One person was really nice.
They brought him a heated blanket. Come on, they were really sweet. They were excellent cast members on that.
Said the service, second to none.
That was shared roundly by everyone who experienced it. The cast members were absolutely superb.
And
absolutely
they didn't break
superb.
character. There were several of them that were equity actors. So I will say that they did a really good job doing this. And if that's the thing you want, it was a good one.
You got a good one.
How was that? Was that positive?
It was beautiful. I think it's the right place to move on. So,
Okay.
So that Starcruiser quote that I pulled from Josh D'Amaro, that of course happened during the JP Morgan conference, and there was a couple other things that he spoke about during that conference that I thought were really interesting points worth discussion on this show, specifically about navigating the parks, the future expansions, and then also the parks compared to Disney Cruise Line. So Josh first started talking about Disney World during that conference, saying that the attendance issue that they're dealing with right now, they believe that it's because of the 50th anniversary no longer happening at Walt Disney World. And after a big event like that, they always see, crowds return to a moderate level, not as much. I don't think that's the reason at all.
No.
1 second, the 50th anniversary wasn't popular enough to keep people wanting to come the entire year. So I feel like that's just deflecting on something else where we know there's already a problem.
My
with
2
how-
cents?
Yeah, go ahead.
My 2 cents is last year was the post-COVID bump.
Yeah.
Everybody had money. Everybody was pent up, wanted to travel. Everybody missed Walt Disney World, and they all went, which is great. But this year, people are not or worried about inflation, or worried about jobs, or worried about whatever it is they have, and now they've decided to take a year back. So they've said, listen, the things that are going on now, I don't need to go and experience again. So not until something draws them in will they do it.
I think there's something else. And I don't know how to phrase this, but I have to just hit it head on.
Use your words. It's a safe place.
We have friends who live in London who wrote to us and said, is it safe to come to Florida?
Yeah, we got that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a young daughter, and they don't know if they feel safe coming here. The NAACP just put out a warning to African Americans, LGBTQIA plus people, and anyone who is not white.
A person of color, yeah.
A person of color. And they've said, Florida is not a safe place to be. And I think that is, I'm trying to be very apolitical, but these are true things. People are asking us if they feel safe, if they would feel safe being here. And I've explained that in my life on the ground hasn't changed.
Right.
It is still the same Orlando. It is still the same Disney World. But if I remember going to a European city that had a bombing a month before, and I stayed on the ship. I didn't feel safe getting off. So I can see where that.
Right. And you know,
I hear you.
I think it's important. Okay, let me just say it. These travel warnings are, in my opinion, political hyperbole. It is politically expedient right now for certain groups to be issuing this. They're getting a lot of press as a result of issuing this. And again, it's part of that politics of fear. You know, I'm a gay man. I live here. I do not particularly feel unsafe living here. I don't think my government is very welcoming of me. But my community and the place I live and the places I go, I see no difference.
I agree with you, but this is working.
This is what?
This is working.
You guys also, I'm sorry to be rude and interrupt here, but you guys also don't live in that downtown area like where I live. It's different for me. I would never put a rainbow flag outside of my house or anything that implies that I am gay, because I know something will definitely happen to my car, because the man 3 houses down tried to beat the ever-living daylight out of Eli the other day and using homosexual slurs at me too. So I feel like we're making too light of something that should be taken seriously, that I do think is a very real weight on people's minds. And like, as somebody who has recently been attacked and harassed about that stuff, I'm just letting you know, it's not unreal that it's not affecting here, but I don't think it. I do agree with you that I do think it is blown out of proportion and so, in a lot of ways. Like, you're in Walt Disney World. It's not going to be, you're going to be okay at Walt Disney World, right? Like, I'm talking about those other areas though. It's getting a little
So I
gross.
can't walk in your shoes.
Right, and
I
that's
don't
all I'm
know
saying.
What you guys are experiencing where you live. All I can speak for is our community, and we live in St. Cloud. St. Cloud is not metropolitan.
No.
It is not.
Very rural.
Yes, it is. Our neighbors know who we are. The people in all the places we go in, we frequent, everyone knows who we are. We are not in the closet. And
I get asked, "Where's your husband?" all the time in Publix.
so again,
John's standing right there. Still.
But sometimes they say, "Where's your wife?" And he goes, "He's over there." So, again, everyone has different experiences from where they come from, and I'm not saying yours is not valid. Absolutely, positively valid.
But I guess my point was, we heard from somebody who had a question. How many people have these thoughts that don't ask?
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
And don't have someone to ask.
No, and
of.
look, I fully accept that Florida's tourism will, and probably is, being hurt by a lot of this political discussion that's going on right now. And that definitely could be part of it. But I think another part of it, the bigger part of it right now for Disney, is the price. Mm-hmm. This is a price issue that, I hear more, the thing I hear more than anything else from people is I just can't afford to go. I have, DVC members who are doing resort-only stays because it's just too complicated and too expensive. They haven't been able to get annual passes until recently. And they're like, I'm not going to give up my DVC. I want to use it, but I'm not going through all that crap and expense to get into the parks.
I've talked about, I have a nephew. He's not my nephew. I forget what he is. He's like my second nephew, cousin, whatever. I call him my nephew, and all his life he's called me Uncle Kevin. And he has grown up going to the parks. As a matter of fact, when he comes to stay with us, we take him up to the parks and drop him off at 8 a.m., and we pick him up at 11 a.m. There's no place in the world he would rather be than
11 p.m.
11 p.m. Excuse me. There's no place in the world he would rather be than the Disney parks. He was here just recently, and he goes, "This is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I can't get a fast pass. I can't walk up and get a cheeseburger. I have to have a reservation." He said they have literally sucked all of the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And he said, and I don't have any desire to go anymore. And he's 28.
Yeah.
So this is a diehard. And I know these are anecdotal, but I can't believe
But
he's
it's
the
not,
only one.
Singular.
not at all. Because, just spend 10 minutes on social media. Spend 10 minutes on Facebook. And you can see the stories of people saying this exact same thing. That they've sucked the magic out of it. They've sucked the magic out of it.
But also,
And charged you more for it.
there are the people, I've had numerous clients that are skipping this year for financial reasons.
Right.
Not necessarily that Disney's too expensive for them, but they're holding their money and using it for more tangible things in their life.
Too expensive to go every year.
Yeah, they just want
People
to,
could have gone every year.
I'm just going to set it out this year and,
Can I do one more
redo
thing
the
here? I
pool.
know you want to move on, but there's one more thing. We're talking about Disney and how hard it is and how difficult it is in ruining the magic. I gotta give Disney credit. It feels like in some instances they are moving forward. The thing with the park passes for not for the date specific guests and now for annual pass holders on some dates, not having park reservations. I feel like they're listening and they're getting the feelers out there, and I think that things are going in the right direction. And I really do think that at some point we may return to a Disney that we remember.
They're listening because things are tanking.
Well, that's
Right.
exactly what I'm saying. Is they're taking a look and they're saying, why aren't people coming? Well, these are factors to why people aren't coming, so we have to fix those factors. Part of it is a 30% discount in the summer, and part of it is park reservations and things like that. So
Well, that ties into what I was trying to say is that I asked the audience earlier. I'm not being passive aggressive by that. I just picked the wrong time to pause in the middle of my sentence. But I asked, what's keeping you away from Walt Disney World right now? And we had nearly 600 responses in the time that it was open. 48% said price, 30% said value for cost. 17% said the perks missing, and 4% said I just don't like Disney anymore. That wasn't scientifically accurate because I was limited to those four,
Right.
and other people wanted to say I am still coming to
Price
Walt
and
Disney
value.
World. But
Price and value
yeah.
overwhelmingly the top two things.
Well,
and again, we've been telling them this for a while now. And
I don't think they're seeing that, though. And the only reason I say that is because Josh was asked about what they're doing to make the parks easier, making the park going experience easier, because the moderator said that, it's being told that it's more difficult than previously expected. And so Josh's response, and I'm paraphrasing again, was, I spend a lot of time in the parks when I'm not on a flight or in a meeting. These theme parks we operate are big places with a lot of things to do. Walt Disney World is 25,000 acres. Our guests try to consume all that on a 7-day vacation or a 3-day vacation, and it becomes our obligation to find a way to serve these experiences up to guests rather than tell them to just do everything. We think what we've come up with has helped so far in terms of the tech to navigate the parks. I think we have more to do. From a pricing standpoint, we want variable and flex pricing everywhere they can be. With tickets, we have entry-level tickets during certain seasons and aggressive pricing during peak. With hotels, we offer value hotels up to deluxe. Even inside the park, there are options for guests to choose how they want to spend money. We're starting to make changes, but we want to spend money on tech to help simplify how the parks are operated it to make it easier and accessible.
Okay.
So they clearly think it's tech is the answer to everything and
Of
not
course.
price.
And let me go back to what I said earlier about how Disney executives live in this insular bubble where they just kind of feed each other and eat their own BS. That, I love Josh. I've talked about, I love Josh. But that is an example. I spend all this time in the parks. You're chairman of parks and resorts. The seas literally part when you walk in to those parks. You are not ever going to have the experience your guests have. You're not ever going to have that. You are not ever going to plan a Disney World vacation for yourself. And if you do, you make millions upon millions of dollars every year. So the finances aren't a big issue for you. So you don't have, and your feedback forms aren't giving you the real picture of what goes on the ground, because you don't talk to those people. You don't talk to them. And not so much Josh. Josh, I don't think is like, dismisses fans, but I know how much inside Disney management we are looked at as a joke. We are the ones having the experience on the ground. We are the ones having that experience. And your experience on the ground has gotten so crappy that a guy who built his career doing your parks doesn't want anything to do with them anymore. You couldn't pay me to go into a Disney park right now, which is why I stepped down from hosting this show. When you're losing me, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So the same warning I gave you a couple of years ago about Starcruiser, I'm giving you about your parks now. This is going to get bad fast. If you think this summer is a problem, just wait. Just wait if we default on our debt. Just wait if we head into a double-digit recession. Just wait to see how bad this is going to get. Because you're not prepared for it. You're not prepared for it. Okay, I'm done.
Actually, he did make a statement about how recession-proof that they are. Not recession-proof. I shouldn't say that. Now I'm saying too many S's in a row. Either way, they said they'll be safe if there's a recession. They'll take a hit, but they'll be safe. The only thing I want to tie in with the rest of the JP Morgan conference, I'll skip the expansion stuff. That doesn't matter. But we're talking about price and value. He shared a lot of love for Disney Cruise Line, saying, we have 5 ships online now with 3 more coming. We are commanding double-digit returns. We've created a special space. We still have a small fleet, but we've carved out a special space that was used quite a bit. 40% of guests say they wouldn't have cruised had it not been with Disney. They're really bullish about the business. It's a significant premium to cruise with Disney because it's a small fleet that's highly demanded. It's pretty compelling from entertainment to dining to the crew who are best in class. And when guests get off the ships, they say it's among the best they've experienced with Disney. So they see the value in it. And that says a lot right there. They understand on Disney Cruise Line, but for some reason they're missing the park side of it all. And I mean, I also think, look at what the future of Walt Disney World is right now and see that they are just giving up on parks. My friend Scott pointed it out to me too, like that it's just the future is bleak. Maybe they're going to put $17 billion to Florida. Maybe they're going to do the blue sky concepts that doesn't seem like they're actually ever going to come. So right now in Walt Disney World's future, you have Star Tours is getting updated. You have they're finally going to finish Epcot after being a construction pit for years, and they are retheming Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and that's the only thing they have in the future right now.
Yeah.
And so that's also like you're not investing in parks that have a lot of issues. There's still a lot of magic in them, and there's still a great cast, but yeah, it's not lining up again with price, but DCL is.
And what did Iger say? Iger said they're going to concentrate on Disneyland. They're going to work on Disneyland and expanding
Yep,
that experience.
Disneyland Forward and
Right.
that new expansion too. So I think Walt Disney World is in for a rough couple of years,
Yes,
maybe
it is.
longer.
It is.
They need to really sit down because they're really going to take a beating from Universal. Universal and their new IPs and all the stuff they've got going on, and that epic Universal, they're really going to take a bath if someone doesn't take a look and say, what's the next big thing we've got to do?
But didn't Josh say that they're in response to Universal going, being bigger and better, that they're not going to do anything?
No, they're not doing regional parks.
Regional
So they're not going to play off of what Universal's doing in Texas and
Oh,
in
they said that?
Las Vegas. Yeah, Disney has no plans on doing it, which, I mean, they had Disney Quest in Philadelphia, or was that and that was a disaster.
Chicago,
So
I think, or something.
that's right. Yeah.
Are they going to do one of those
they-
in Chicago?
Yeah,
too?
they did one in Chicago.
But they need to just stay away from regional. They know their big parks here domestically are what's important. That's what they need to fix.
They hit a home run with Alani, but that's more about Hawaii than it is about, Disney.
Yeah, but even there, take a look. That resort is, it's a DVC resort. It's been on sale for 125 years. They can't sell that
Where
resort
do you know
out.
it was that old?
Sir, you don't remember when Captain Cook found Alani on his...
Every
around
every
that.
special offer that DVC does
That's again,
includes-
that comes down to price.
includes Alani. No, it's not the price
don't
point,
think
because
so?
a couple of years ago, I was able to buy direct contracts at Alani for the same price as I would get them if I had gone resale. That's how heavily discounted they were. And they still can't they still can't sell that resort out.
Well, you're going to build something in California that's going to have a bigger draw because of a park. You're going to expand the DVC properties here. That has a bigger draw because of a park nearby.
Well, you also have,
doesn't have a bar.
huge audience on the East Coast that, is just not about that, 9-hour flight that it takes to get out to Hawaii. So, but I mean, no, Alani though, as a resort, is the best they have.
You don't
It's
think
the best they have.
Should they build DVC Lake Nona?
Well, John, I love that you were trying to find the perfect segue
Trying
for
to
us
get
to
in
get to
there.
our final news story, because we're about to run way over here. But of course, last week Disney announced, the same day they announced the Starcruiser, that they were no longer moving forward with the Lake Nona relocation. The nearly $1 billion office complex would have brought more than 2,000 jobs to the region, with the average salary being $120,000 a year. And of course, some cast members already took the time to relocate, and Disney is going to be working with them on the possibility of moving back. But at the same time, the sad part of it is that a lot of cast members and Imagineers left their dream jobs because they didn't want to move to Florida. And Disney's cutting 7,000 jobs. They're in their final wave of that. Those people aren't getting hired back. That's just unfortunately part of it. That it's just bad times for Disney in that way. But of course, Disney is citing the change in plans due to new leadership and changing business conditions. I think.
And they're being very they're being very politically careful in their word choice. But this is solely, make no mistake, this is solely about what's going on right now between Disney and Florida.
Yeah.
That's just solely about that.
And there's no wording in there that says we're going to sell this property that we bought. So guess what? We're going to hold on to it.
Hold on to it and wait for better conditions.
until someone's
And-
not around,
Right.
and then they're going to go back in and do whatever they're planning to do with it.
Y'all are
But I
pulling
really-
me down.
What?
Said y'all are pulling me down. I just want
Sorry.
to walk down, look at the castle, and
I feel
be
really,
happy.
I feel really bad for these cast members.
I
who
do too.
relocated. Could you imagine you've upended your life, you've taken everything and betted on being here, and now it's not here, and you think, oh my God.
I met one cast member from California a couple months back, and I was just talking to her. Didn't realize that she worked for Disney, and she was from merchandise. Like, she would work with who's like the people who makes the cuckoo clocks and the little
Switzerland?
collectibles.
Switzerland?
Like, I don't. It's one of the third-party partners they have, and she had already relocated all the way over. And luckily, she had family in Florida. But I think about like other people. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot that already came over here. I think they said somewhere around like
Came over
20%
here.
of it, which that's a big bulk.
Okay, I'm going to let you keep talking and wrap the show up. I got to go to the bathroom.
That's okay. That's okay.
There we go.
We're at the end of it
Camera on
anyways.
Teresa. Camera on Teresa.
Camera on me.
But it's just terrible for
Yeah.
all of them.
And then also, no, I have hours more to say.
Then I'm leaving too.
And then also the folks, like you
Right,
said,
I gotta
who
go.
lost
Jonathan,
their
we
We
jobs.
have to start attaching catheters to the bottom of this table.
I know, we might. It would help us.
I went
get
through-
this
I
I went 3
I don't
times
want to be
before we
doing that.
John is trained in waste management.
We
am.
we can't afford bedpans, but we can get some catheters running. Yep. So we'll see what happens in the future for Lake Nona. I can't say anything else besides that because
They've got a lime up there, and lime's delicious.
they've got lime.
Lime, the restaurant lime, delicious.
Oh, the
up
one
there.
that Steve Porter loves. The
Yep.
quick service. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Fast casual.
Cool. Okay. Well, I don't think we have anything else to say because we were going to do rapid fire. Sorry, Teresa.
I know.
We
I was
lost
all
that
about
for you.
that bibbity bobbity boutique.
Yeah.
Call me. I'll tell you about it.
That's okay. That's okay. It's
Sorry, Teresa.
like she said. Call her, email her,
Call me,
Text
beat
her.
me.
We'll make sure to post her phone number in the show notes down below. But yeah, we don't have anything else to say. I believe we've gone through all the housekeeping, so that's going to do it for this week's episode. We truly did episode. We hope you enjoyed it and helped bring you some Disney fun this week. And we'll see you all again next week for another episode of the Diz Unplugged. Take care. Bye bye.